My thought is me. That is why I cannot stop thinking. If I became a philosopher, if I have so keenly sought this fame for which I'm still waiting, it's all been to seduce women, basically. I confused things with their names. That is belief. What do I care about Jupiter? Justice is a human issue, and I do not need a god to teach it to me. Fear, if I have gained anything by damning myself, it is that I no longer have anything to fear. One is still what one is going to cease to be, and already what one is going to become. One lives, one's death. One dies, one's life. I say a murder is abstract. You pull the trigger, and after that you do not understand anything that happens. Every age has its own poetry. In every age, the circumstances of history choose a nation, a race, a class to take up the torch by creating situations that can be expressed or transcended only through poetry. A lost battle is a battle one thinks one has lost. Words are more treacherous and powerful than we think. For an occurrence to become an adventure, it is necessary and sufficient for one to recount it. Existence precedes and rules essence, neither sex, without some fertilization of the complementary characters of the other, is capable of the highest reaches of human endeavor. Acting is a question of absorbing other people's personalities and adding some of your own experience. I have no need for good souls. An accomplice is what I wanted. Acting is happy agony. All that I know about my life, it seems, I have learned in books. To eat is to appropriate by destruction. Oh, yes, I know those who see me rarely trust my word. I must look too intelligent to keep it. The existentialist says at once that man is anguish. I am not virtuous. Our sons will be if we shed enough blood to give them the right to be. Better to have beasts that let themselves be killed than men who run away. One cannot become a saint when one works 16 hours a day. I tell you in truth, all men are prophets, or else God does not exist. Who can exhaust a man? Who knows a man's resources? You must be afraid, my son. That is how one becomes an honest citizen. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. I hear, I know, I see, I remember. I do, I understand. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. When anger rises, think of the consequences. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals. Adjust the action steps. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. It is easy to hate, and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed if in terms of 10 years. Plant trees if in terms of 100 years. Teach the people. Never give a sword to a man who can't dance. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. If I am walking with 2 other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. Humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as spectator. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. They must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. Study the past, if you would divine the future. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. Heaven means to be one with God. The youth, when at home, should be filial, and abroad, respectful to his elders. He should be earnest and truthful. He should overflow in love to all and cultivate the friendship of the good. When he has time and opportunity, after the performance of these things, he should employ them in polite studies. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage or of principle. If we don't know life, how can we know death? You cannot open a book without learning something. The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. The cautious seldom err. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Death and life have their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. If you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. The superior man understands what is right. The inferior man understands what will sell. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. Being is in itself. Being is what it is. If literature isn't everything, it's not worth a single hour of someone's trouble. If a victory is told in detail, one can no longer distinguish it from a defeat. The poor don't know that their function in life is to exercise our generosity.